Hello and welcome to another edition of the Devlin Bishop Show. I'm Devlin, and Corda is also here with us tonight, as always. And we have got a phenomenal show. I'm not going to take too much time setting it up because I'm anxious. It's been a couple of weeks since we've had anyone here, and we've made up for it by having two wonderfully talented performers here. I know them through the Penny and Pound Productions, but I know they've done so many other wonderful things. They're two just phenomenal performers, and they're so young and talented. And so today I'm going to be talking to Piper J. Distel and Jeremy Vandenhelm. Hope I said that right. Anyhow, let's bring them in, Corda, and waste no time. There they are. I just introduced you. How are you both
So,
doing? Even though I asked you a couple minutes ago, but now
Still
got it on.
fantastic.
Before we get
really
talking,
great.
thumbs up is always good, and whatever these are, that's always good too. Sorry.
It's not appropriate. This is a family show.
No, we're not actually a family show, so we're good.
That is true. PG-13,
But I will try to be good. I will try to be good. Before we start, I can't wait to talk about your upcoming show and everything else. But I wanted to say most people don't admit when they make mistakes, but I like to call myself out for it. And the last time I did, I was talking to Jeremy earlier about doing hosting some of the Penny and Pound Productions shows. And the last one we did, Miscast, I wanted to promote Daddy Longlegs. So when I was getting ready to do it, here I am in Count Devlin makeup. I got all my information, and I never get asked to do this. I just want to do it because it's so awesome. And I always was like, I got to get Jeremy's last name right. So I'm practicing like Vandenhelm. Is that right, Jeremy?
Yeah, Vandenhelm is that? I think that's what I heard, right? I think you
Yes,
got it
yes.
right. Sounds like you did.
Okay. So anyhow, before we started recording, was practicing. I'm sitting there in Count Devlin makeup, Vandenhelm, Vandenhelm. I don't know if it was the one you got, and I think it was, but when Count Devlin actually promotes the show, there's a slight hesitation. I actually almost screwed up Jeremy. I got your last name right, but it was like, really? After all that, the one part that I didn't have to practice. So let's get right talking about Daddy Longlegs, and then we're going to talk about other theater experiences you guys had. Looks like an exciting production. Why don't one of you, tell us about this? Because I've seen the little promo you put up this weekend, and I can't wait to watch this weekend. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so Daddy Longlegs is a musical by Paul Gordon and John Caird, and John Caird is actually the original director of Les Mis on Broadway, which is interesting.
Oh.
So yeah, it opened off Broadway in 2015. It's based on a book by Gene Webster from the early 1900s. It's about an orphan named Jerusha Abbott, who is the oldest orphan in the John Grier Home, which is an orphanage in Manhattan. And she's aging out. I mean, she's 18 years old, and she is sponsored by a mysterious benefactor to go to college to become educated as a writer. And Jerusha is very, very bright, loves to write, very creative, kind of an Anne Shirley type character. But the stipulation is that she needs to write this mysterious benefactor a letter once a month, talking about her studies and what she's learning and just her daily life. And Jerusha, being the quirky girl she is, gives a lot of details to this benefactor. He introduces himself to her as John Smith, but she doesn't like that name, so she decides to call him Daddy Longlegs, because all that she saw when he left the orphanage was his silhouette, and she saw that he was really tall. It reminded her of a Daddy Longlegs. So he says he'll never respond to any of her letters. He won't even open them. He won't pay any attention to them. But she continues to write them anyways. And a bond kind of forms between the fictional Daddy Longlegs and Jerusha. Meanwhile, there is a young kind of can a man be a socialite? I guess not. That's a female thing, right? But like a society person, named Jervis Pendleton.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can a man be a socialite? Okay. But he's a society.
It'd be a different
A
word.
society. Yeah, there's got to be a different word for it, but he's a society person named Jervis Pendleton, and he is actually Daddy Longlegs, and he begins reading these letters and becomes infatuated with Jerusha. So thus a relationship is born between the two of them, and I'm not going to give too much away because there's some
we want
twists
people to
and
go.
Turns.
Yeah, we want people to check it out for sure, but it sounds
exactly
incredible.
So. Yeah, so there's some romance. It's very, very funny. It's very heartfelt. It has one of the best, in my opinion, one of the best dramatic speeches for a woman in musical theater, which is awesome. At the end of, so it was really fun to be able to perform that. And just the music is so beautiful. It's very, very timeless sounding music. Mm-hmm. And it's an absolute dream of a show to put together.
So you said 2015. This is fairly new.
It is, yeah. It was kind of snubbed at the Tonys that year, but yeah, and it's relatively unknown. It's a very underrated show, and I think it might be because it is only 2 people. It's not often produced, which is I mean, COVID has had a lot of it's been very problematic for the arts community, but at the same time, Daddy Longlegs is being produced a lot now, which is really awesome because it's such a beautiful show. It's one of my all-time favorite musicals. And I really want people to know that it exists because it has a little bit of everything.
Yeah, and it's a perfect show for this time because it's 2 people. You don't have to worry about like mm-hmm. a cast of Les Mis with, tons of people. So.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
Whose idea was it to do this, like to do it as a streaming format and stuff like that?
Funny story. It was actually my idea to do Daddy Longlegs. And selfishly speaking, I wanted to be in Daddy Longlegs. It's a show I've always wanted to do, but I was saying to Lori, the owner of Penny and Pound, who's my mother, saying, hey, like after Christmas Carol, we did Christmas Carol back in December as a radio play. And it was such a great success. I was thinking, everybody else is doing kind of Zoom shows and streaming shows. Why don't we give it a try? And this show, there's not a lot of really great 2-person shows. And I was, she was looking for 2-person shows. She was saying, oh, I want to do something, to stream around April, around Easter time. What are we going to do? And I was like, oh my gosh, like this is our perfect chance to do Daddy Longlegs. Because in a normal season, we never would have done this type of show. It's too small, that type of deal. But for COVID, for streaming, it's the perfect time to put it on.
Is there any other musicals with 2 people in it? Like I know there's a lot of dramas and comedies with 2 people. Mm-hmm. I can't think. I'm
only aware of a couple. So yeah, I know Jason Robert Brown's The Last 5 Years has 2 people in it. There's a movie with Anna Kendrick and Jeremy Jordan. That's a pretty good one. It's a little dark for COVID times. We liked how light Daddy Longlegs was and how sweet and kind of timeless it was. And it would kind of it would go, be great for, a lot of our patrons are a little bit older, they're seniors. So it's a great show for that, just because it is so sweet and so kind of golden era of Broadway. Yeah, and there's also John and Jen, which is a relatively unknown one, which is really good. So check that out too. It's kind of bizarre. It's great, but it's a little strange. But yeah, there are those 2. Those are the only ones I'm really aware of that have only 2 people in them, but.
And Jeremy, you got involved. I've seen both of you in so many Penny and Pound productions. You guys have an amazing chemistry. And were you cast just for your long legs in this, or? Because obviously, if Jeremy had little stubby legs, he couldn't really be in this. Really.
Obviously.
I think. No, I think almost, well, actually, I think on the contrary, I think I'm rather short for a guy, but that's just personally how I feel. No, I think this has been, I think, yeah, Piper and I, we worked together on a number of musicals, and we've been romantic interests more than once in a show. So I think, I definitely say there is absolutely a chemistry there. I'm really grateful for that. It's really accessible as an actor to work alongside Piper, and it just she makes the job easy. So
Ooh, what a
that.
kiss ass.
Well, no, that's good. You want that. But yeah, you want that. Well, I remember like I've seen you guys do so many things together, and I remember the first time that I saw Jeremy, and I've known Piper forever. I've known you since you were a little kid.
Yeah,
And
my whole
when
life.
I
Yeah.
yeah, and I remember your mom, Lori, was like, "Oh, you gotta see this kid. You gotta see this kid." And I'm like, "Yeah, okay, we'll see." And like he blew me away. And every time I see a performance of him, I'm like, "Oh my God!" Now he can like I remember going to Nightingale Sang. Is that the right title?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And like I've never seen him dance so much. And I was just like crazy. And then so here's my first thing. So when I see this guy, every time I see him, I'm like, this guy can do everything. Like he's amazing. He's not hard on the eyes, he's talented, he can act, he can
Correct.
sing. I know he's dying here. He's dying here. And so I remember
You
when
make
you
me
guys
so red.
introduced I remember when you guys introduced me, I said, I bet you he's gonna be a prick. I think he's gonna be a diva.
He
And you
did
know
say
what?
that to me. He's like, no, he's gonna be a prick.
And I said he's got to have something wrong with him. And I meet the most charming man, and I'm like, I don't know if I have a crush on him or if he's too perfect. He's too perfect. Okay, there you
Don't tell
go.
Mike.
Oh gosh.
He's, he's humble too. He's humble. I like seeing him a little blush a little bit there. Okay.
Oh.
So what is it about this, Jeremy, that you really loved about this play? Did you know of this play before they came to you with this, or?
I had no idea about this show whatsoever before Laurie and Piper came to you, but I'm so glad that they did introduce me to it. I think we were talking about this a couple days ago, Piper and I and Laurie. I think my favorite part of this, what I love about this show so much, is I think the music. That I think Piper really nailed it with this, saying that it has a timeless feel to it. Because it is, of course, from majority speaking, a pop musical. Like most music does have that sort of upbeat, but has beautiful ballads, very uplifting, but also songs that are a little more sad, a little more kind of heart wrenching. It has its beautiful, simplistic moments in the music, but also moments that really kind of blow you away, and really catchy, upbeat numbers, energetic numbers like My Manhattan, or but I don't want to give away too much, of course. But super, really, really charming musical.
Nice. Now, Piper, you said this was a romance musical. Is it weird?
It is. I don't want to.
Sorry, go on.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was
gonna say I don't want to give too much away when it comes to the romance.
Okay, no problem.
But
what is
I don't
it
know,
like? We had Lori on here before. I've been good friends with Lori for, well, obviously even longer than you. But is it weird because you and your mother have a really great chemistry too? Is it weird to be directed by your mother?
She is my favorite director to work with, and that's not just me saying because she's my mom, my mom, because she is so incredibly hard on me, and that's what I respect about her as a director. A lot of other directors don't tend to be as hard on me, right? Because there's not as much at stake. But she'll tell it how it is. If I don't do a good job, I was in a show back around Christmas time. I was in a staged reading, and I was like, Mom, did you like the show? She went, not your best work. And I was like, thanks, Mom, because I need to know this stuff, right? I need to. So it's really great being directed by her because she's so honest with me. And you knew my dad too, so what hard asses both of my parents are on my sister Ellie and I. So no, it's really great because I learn a lot when I'm in her shows. She doesn't, kind of tiptoe around the fact that I'm her daughter. She's not easy on me. She's not, she doesn't coddle me. If anything, like, she works me like a dog. And I really, really appreciate it.
That's good. That's awesome that she gives you that
Mhm.
feedback, and I
Mhm.
like that she's like a perfectionist. Like, her name's on this, and her daughter's not going to let this
Exactly.
go. Now you've worked a lot with Penny and Pound, Jeremy, as well. What is it about the feel of that the place that keeps making you come back?
Sorry, could you ask that again, please? Sorry, I just want to make
No
sure.
problem. You've
Right.
done a lot of productions with Penny and Pound, and
Mhm.
I just, what is it about that production company that keeps bringing you back to do shows and stuff?
Well, I think what they do so good, Dylan, is that they keep things fresh. They keep the experiences fresh. It's new every time. It's there's always something new to be brought to the table. There's always ways that they surprise people, and I love surprises personally. I love surprises, and it's there's good ways to challenge yourself in that. I feel that's also another reason why I love doing theater so much, is because there's that degree of challenges that of course aren't maybe seen in maybe acting on camera, for example, and vice versa, of course. But there's something special about doing theater that does challenge you, especially in the moment, especially when those surprises come, because oftentimes, when doing live theater, if you make a mistake or flub, on stage, that's it. You just got to keep rolling with the punches, and that's very exciting for me. I loved experimenting with that as a performer, as an actor. Um, but yeah, no. What Pain Pound does is they also provide such a warm, open, accepting space for a lot of people to experiment, to discover, to just a good, wholesome, safe space for a lot of young actors to discover a lot about themselves, about their talent, and how they can grow. And it's a very encouraging, positive environment in that respect as well. And also, they are so good at, of course, keeping that business aspect going with keeping communication, um, and constantly recruiting new people as well. So they really keep their gears well oiled and constantly keeping that machine chugging on. And no, I appreciate that. It's good.
Yeah, no, I remember talking to your mother, and I said one of the things I love about going to see your live performances is I remember you see people in the cast coming back in different roles year after year, and you see such growth. So you might see somebody who had a very small role one year, and then the next year you see confidence, you see, and it's wonderful to see that, because it's not like a case of oh, I didn't like that experience, I'm gone. It's wonderful when you see performers that are growing and they grow amongst that. So that I totally get that. And what you said too, I love that Penny and Pound is doing their best to bring stuff during this pandemic. I see a lot of theater companies, like I know a lot of people in Hamilton that are in theater companies, and they're just staying dark. But I love that you guys are out there trying to do like the talent shows, the radio broadcasts, and now this is the first time you've done something on this scale, like a streaming.
Mhm.
How daunting was that to get that set up?
It was a lot. This is, like you said, this is the first time that we've ever done something like this. We had a really amazing film crew come in: Rob Kerwayne, Matthew Preston, and Martin Smith, and then Karina, co-founder Karina Dunn, did our sound for us, which was really awesome. But it was intense, and I think not as much for Jer because he went to film school, but I don't particularly care for doing film. I'm not a film girl. I much prefer theater. I like being in the moment. I like being able to get the immediate reaction from the audience. You make a joke, you want to hear the laugh, right? Because it kind of keeps your energy up. For me, that's just how I am. So it was hard. It was daunting to, stop and start and be like, okay, we're gonna do that again. Okay, and we didn't stop and start that much, which was nice. But yeah, it was very, very, very daunting to switch from typical theater to the film industry.
Well, that's good. You're going to have this performance on film now for a
Hmm.
nice memory.
Hmm.
So we'll talk more about theater in a minute, but let's get the information for people out there who want to find out how to do it. Do you want to let them know, Piper, or I do have
Absolutely,
some of the
yes.
information.
Yeah, whoever wants to say it. But so Daddy Longlegs will be available to stream via the platform Showtix for You. So Showtix with a K, for the number, and you, the letter, .com. If you head over to our Facebook page, there is a direct link that will lead you right to the event page. Once you purchase your ticket, one ticket equals one device. You can watch it for a full 48 hours once it begins to stream. So that's kind of cool, kind of like a old blockbuster rent a movie type
Yeah.
idea. um, yeah, so it runs from April 9th through 11th. And yeah, we're hoping to get, our tickets have been selling pretty well, so we're hoping to get some even more people who want to give it a watch. It's definitely worth it.
Yeah, I've been promoting it on Mondo Nostalgia, and this will be airing just before it. So hopefully we get, even if we can get a couple more
Listening.
eyes on you guys, it'd be great. And
Yes,
I,
yeah, for
I
sure.
do plan to watch it too. I'm looking forward to it very much. I can't wait to see it. I've missed seeing you guys on stage and stuff, so it'll be wonderful. Uh, um, I just can't wait. So you guys have been doing theater for a long time. What ages did you start? Whoever wants to go first, Piper?
Okay. Well, I was really shy as a kid, as I'm sure Dawn and Heather, you remember how shy I was when I was really, really young. So my first show I did, if we want to get technical, we want to get really technical here. My first show I did was, I was 3 years old, and I
Wow.
played the Angel Gabriel. Yes, in our church pageant, I ran down the aisle and shouted, "Good news, good news." I had wings. I was feeling it up. But my first actual professional experience I had was in a production called Wickedly Wonderful when I was 8 years old. That was what I kind of caught the acting bug after that.
Yeah, you can always tell when it's there.
Hmm.
When I did improv comedy, and I knew I loved it. And the first time I remember doing it on stage, like you said, when you hear those laughs, it's like, oh, that's addictive. So
Yeah, yeah.
how about
It's
Jeremy?
like a drug, honestly.
It is. It's a high. And I also, when I taught improv, I could always tell the ones that were going to come back. Because some people would
Mhm.
always come out to improv, and you could say, "Well, I'm glad I tried it." And yeah, you'll never see them again. And then there was a glimmer in somebody's eye, and it'd be like after week, it's like, "Yep, we got them." Yes. Jeremy, how old were you when you got started in this and you caught the bug?
Well, if we are getting technical, uh,
Yes, absolutely.
actually, that's great. No. I dabbled in Christmas pageant shows through church as well when I was young, but I caught the bug in my victory lap in high school. Or sorry, yeah, victory lap in high school. My vocal teacher in high school, Mrs. McCabe, love her. She approached me and said, a friend of mine who is at St. Michael's School, they're looking for an actor, singer to play the Beast in their production of Beauty and the Beast. I thought, oh, this is a dream come true. Ever since I was young, I had three dreams. What I wanted to be. I wanted to be either Tarzan, the Beast, or a dinosaur when I was just a little kid. So if I could be one of those three, I was happy. So yeah,
Good
so my
dream.
first So my first role in theater production was my dream role. So that was a really fantastic experience. That one really stuck with me a lot personally. And then from there, then after that, it was Canterville Ghost. I think was my introduction to the Penny and Pound cast, the alumni there. So that was a lot of fun. Because first one I saw though was Crucible.
The Crucible.
I attended as an audience member, which that was fantastic. Thoroughly enjoyed that, and I wanted to be part of that. So, and then I guess the rest is history.
Nice. What was your first Penny and Pound production? Because I'm sure I saw it, like the one you were in.
That would be like when I first acted in would be
Yeah.
Canterville Ghost.
Because I know I think I saw you because I remember because Lori always tends to sit next to me when the play, and she's always like telling me stuff. Oh, this is gonna happen now. This is gonna happen. You know, like not giving away the plot, but oh, you got to see this performer and stuff like that. I love it. She makes me. I remember there was somebody kept playing with the door, and when the show was about to start, somebody kept opening the door outside, and she was just giving them the look like. And I was just howling. I was howling. I thought she was going to like kill this person. And every time that door went open, and she's amazing. She makes me laugh so much. But that's awesome. So Beast was one of your dream roles, and you got to play it at the very beginning of your career in acting.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That doesn't happen too often.
No, I'm
Piper,
very, very fortunate.
Piper, what role have you done that is something you've always like? What do you think your favorite role is of that you have done so far?
Ooh, okay. This is
I know it's
controversial.
hard. It's like picking your favorite.
I had my favorite. I had my favorite role. I had her until I played Jerusha, and then I was like, "Ooh, I think Jerusha might have beat her out." But if we want to get technical, I've played a couple dream roles of mine, which is really really great, in a few different companies. I've been lucky enough to play Abigail Williams in The Crucible. I've been lucky enough to play Eponine in Les Mis and play Anne Frank in The Diary of Anne Frank. Those were 3 roles of mine. And now, currently, right now, in a company in Paris, I'm playing Cecily Cardew in The Importance of Being Earnest, which is also a dream role of mine. But I used to say Anne Frank was my favorite part that I had played. I don't believe in nailing roles. Like I don't. I always feel like there's room for improvement, and every time I play a part I'm like, could have done that better. But Anne Frank, I was very satisfied, and it was just the show itself. I was satisfied with how the show itself turned out. But we wrapped up Daddy Longlegs filming, and I was like, ooh, I think Jerusha might be my new favorite, because I kind of took a piece of Jerusha with me. She's such a sweet character. I found it hard to break apart from her. I found like I was, even in my daily life, like after we were done filming and we came home, I was like, I still feel like Jerusha. Like I still feel like this sunny, like cute, lovable little orphan. And yeah, no, she really like left a part of me, or I have a part of her still with me, I think. So I think, final answer, I think Jerusha Abbott is my favorite role I've played to date.
I'm excited that you guys are going to be introducing people to this play because, as you said, it doesn't sound like one that is very well known, and that's very exciting. Who knows, after next weekend, this could be a new favorite play for one of the people who just watched it. So that's awesome.
Exactly.
So is there what is the next role that your next big dream role that you hope to get one day? Both of you, I'll ask. Is there one?
Okay. I do have one. My absolute dream role to play in any theater. I don't care where I play her. I just have to. I can retire. Once I play her. I have to play Julie Jordan in Carousel. Carousel is my all-time favorite musical. I love that show. And yeah, Julie, I've always been really, really drawn to that. And she's not a very big part. She's not a large role, but she's a very juicy role. And I've always been so drawn to Julie Jordan. Yeah.
That's awesome. And Jeremy, do you have a dream role? I know Tarzan and a dinosaur is still up.
The dinosaur, yeah.
far as I know, there is a musical of Tarzan, but I don't know if
There
they have
is.
dinosaurs.
There is that is right. That is correct. There is a musical version of Tarzan.
So that dream could still happen for you.
Possibly. There are you know what? The Bible is full of such rich characters and I'd love to so many biblical characters I'd love to play like either on screen or on stage. I think one particular challenge, if I could ever physically kind of reach that this level, is Samson. I think would be a blast to play as. I love. There's a film audition. There's a film rendition of it made by Pureflix back in 2018, played by and Samson. The character of Samson is played by Taylor James, and he just knocks it out of the park, and it's very inspiring. And I think it would be. Who knows? Maybe in 10 years' time, if they're looking to make another rendition or kick at it, I think that would be a blast to take part in.
Yeah, that would be great. Maybe you can write a musical about it. Is there a Samson musical?
We'll get right on that.
Who
Yeah,
knows?
that's
We don't have enough biblical
musicals.
Yeah, the 10 Commandments, the musical.
That's Prince of Egypt.
Prince of Egypt, yeah.
It's a very long production, but.
Do you think we can get Charlton Heston to come back? Do you think has Charlton been seen?
I think he's no longer with us, so yeah.
That's really too bad. Yul Brynner, same thing. Oh, I have the biggest crush on Yul Brynner. Random, I love him. Okay.
Yeah, I totally get it. Yul Brynner, I saw the 10 Commandments first, and
yeah,
there's such a weird. Yeah, I remember seeing him in the Magnificent Seven after that, and I go, "Wow, this guy's all over the place." I like him. He's so unique, and yeah, it's just great.
No, they voted Prince William the sexiest bald man alive. Now, okay, alive. I guess that's a technicality there because I was going to say right there, but Yule is not still alive, so I guess that's why Prince William got it. And Prince William is lucky Yul Brynner isn't still alive.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, he definitely had his unique look, which I really liked about him too. Well, that's what I love about talking, because you never know. Who would have thought we'd be talking about Yul Brynner?
Yul Brynner. It always ends up back at Yule with me. Like, ask Jeremy right here. Always comes back to the 1950s movie stars I find the most attractive. Go for hours about Greg Peck.
You should make a Christmas decoration and have a Yule log and find a way to
that's
celebrate
good. That's
Brenner around the holidays.
I'm sure there's a market for that, Don. I'm sure there's a market.
There's a market. Well, you'd be buying one, right? Right there. Do you well, since we're talking about that, do you have any performers or actors, actresses that you look up to?
Jeremy,
I know yours. Oh, I know yours.
I got a couple. I'll name three. I'll try to stick to three.
Okay.
Ian McKellen, Hugh Jackman, who are ironically both in the X-Men series. Coincidence? I think not. And Jack Black.
Nice.
Love Jack Black.
Three really good ones there.
I tried to kind of hit a broad spectrum there.
But three very incredibly talented men for lots of different reasons, and that's great.
Right.
How about you, Piper? Mm-hmm. Who are your people you look up to besides Yul Brynner?
Ooh. Besides Yul, yeah, I look up to him for different reasons. Reasons I know alone. But sorry.
That's the one thing I've always loved about Piper is she is so different. Like most 20-year-olds do not have crushes on Yul Brynner, and I love that she does, It's so quirky and unique. I love that because, sometimes I thought like I only looked up to people that were like in old black and white movies and stuff like that. So
Yeah. Hey, here we are. Here we are, Don. I'm here for you. No, actually, it's funny that you say that because the actress I look up to most is actually an old school actress. And a lot of people always think they always ask me, they're like, oh, like Audrey Hepburn, right? Like you look up to, because I get told a lot that I look like Audrey
yeah,
Hepburn. This is
your
I don't really,
pictures, some of your
yes,
photographs.
but I do hear that a lot. But actually, the actress I looked up to the most, I adore Anne Bancroft's acting. I think she is just
Lovely.
so fantastic. The Miracle Worker, Annie Sullivan is one of my dream roles. In The Miracle Worker, she was in Jesus of Nazareth. She played Mary Magdalene. Like, she's such a versatile actress, and she's a beautiful, beautiful woman.
Yeah.
But I just, for the time period that she was popular in, I just thought it was so interesting that she was so three-dimensional of an actress instead of one-dimensional kind of femme fatale or kind of leading lady type. Like, she was a gritty performer, and yeah, I really look up to her. I watch a lot of her stuff and just kind of take notes to see why certain things work, and yeah, she's always been one I've really admired.
I might be wrong here. She's married to Mel Brooks, or was married to Mel Brooks too, right?
I think so. Yeah, I think she
Yeah.
may have been. I think like I'm pretty sure she's deceased. Like I'm pretty sure she died a couple years ago. But yeah, I think
I'm
she
not
might have been
sure
married.
of that, but yeah.
Now I gotta look
Because
that
I
up.
seem to recall that I know they did a movie together, and I always thought it was kind of like a marriage couple type thing, and so
Mm-hmm.
she definitely
That
must
sounds
have had a
familiar to me.
sense of humor. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think if not, we're just making up stuff and putting it out there and stuff.
People would believe us. We're like, yeah, Anne Bancroft and Mel Brooks, they were married.
Sure, why not? Now I'll find out somebody else, but I think it is. Now, Piper,
Cary
I
Grant was
remember.
their love child. I don't know.
Now, I remember seeing a performance of yours where you were really sick, and I
Yeah.
couldn't believe the performance you gave. And like
Oh,
Lori
thank
was kind of giving us the heads up, like, well, and she was just like, I'm glad you guys came to see her, but we didn't know she'd perform tonight. So, you know, and you just like, if I didn't know, I wouldn't have known. You just gave it your
you.
all.
Really? Oh, that's really sweet. Because I still kind of think about that that show, and it was Les Mis, so it was an intense show. It was, I mean, so popular, and I played Eponine, and she's a lot of people's favorite character. So I was scared. I mean, I was scared. I had laryngitis. That day I had the stomach flu, so I had lost my voice from dry heaving. But yeah, I'm really glad you guys said that like that. Thank you so much, because I still kind of look back on that performance and think I'm glad I did it, but I'm also kind of, I hope people didn't walk away thinking, oh God, this girl can't sing. What was that? That was terrible, because I had no voice. I remember having to just like cry through on my own. I was like, okay, I guess we're gonna Rex Harrison it. I guess we're gonna sing today and just cry. So
But I think it may have even added to the performance because you were just the emotion, the cracking and
thank
stuff,
you.
and I didn't see much of it. I did not see much of it. Now, Jeremy, have you ever had a performance where something odd happened, or you weren't feeling up to it, or malfunctions or anything? Do you remember a performance that you had to get through something and was not easy?
Oh, there's too many to count. I'll have to say. Oh wow. Yeah, I think. Oh man, I think was it Dracula is where I think I had the most line flubs I think in the history of theater ever. I think I'll say that. That was that was a lot of fun. There's one moment in particular in that show where actually I remember I forgot to bring out. Sorry, my parents are just talking in the next room. Sorry if you hear a lot of voices. I remember I was supposed to bring on a crucifix on stage with me to fight off the vampire, and I didn't actually have it on me. And then I remember from off stage, it kind of weaved its way through me, like through different people. Like they kind of passed it on like Olympic torch. It was really entertaining, and all kind of behind our backs. And then slowly Quincy Morris just like slipped me the crucifix. And I was kind of like, yeah, thanks. Ah!
That's
That was really heart pounding. I just like, but we just barely pulled through on that one.
Yeah, that doesn't have the same effect, does it? When you...
Yeah, it doesn't have the same
Right.
effect.
Now, I talked a little bit about this with your mom, and what I learned from performing is that crash you get after a show. How do you guys deal with that? Do you get that? You know, when you've worked so hard on something and then you do your final show, and then the next day you just get that, where is it? Where is it? How do you deal with that if you do deal with that? Because I know
I
I
auditioned
deal
for
with
another show.
it.
I just go out and audition. No, I am usually like, it depends on the show, because some shows I'm like, you know what, yeah, that was a lot of fun, and I'm glad we did it, type of thing. But you know, usually I'm okay. The funny thing is, like, Daddy Longlegs actually was the first show in a long time that I had like really severe post-show depression. I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm not gonna be doing Daddy Longlegs right now, and you know, like it's over for the time being, and that's, it was so I was so upset. I don't know if it was because of COVID, and I don't know if it was because it was my first chance to actually perform a legitimate musical or show since the pandemic began, because I had a number of shows that were canceled last year. But yeah, like I really felt it this time. But you know, normally I just kind of think, you know, like I said, I auditioned for another show because I'm a crazy person and I need to constantly be doing something. I just kind of think, you know, you're glad it happened. You know, you just kind of reflect on it. You know, what did I learn from this experience? Because I believe that every theatrical experience I learned something from. Every director, every production, you know, good or bad, I'm going to learn something. And I'm going to grow
Yeah,
as a performer because I'm still young. I'm 20 years old. I just turned 20. So I have a long way to go as a performer. I have a long way, you know, I'm still growing. So I think, yeah, like I always try to just kind of look on the positive side and think, you know, what did I learn from this particular experience?
that's a great way to look at it because yeah, you learn from every experience. Even like sometimes you learn more from the bad experiences and stuff like
Mm-hmm,
that
mm-hmm.
from it, and you learn more about yourself and that. Jeremy, do you ever crash after performances, or do you just move on?
Oh, totally. Totally. Yeah. Sorry. Oh, 1 second. Sorry there. If I can just, sorry, just.
Oh, he's calling them out.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I'm doing a very professional show here.
There's a theater performance live in my house right next door. Sorry. Absolutely.
Jeremy's always working. He's got like a production company right there in his house.
Yeah, right in his house.
Life is a stage. Life is a play. Absolutely. I think crashing after a production, after a run, is always kind of just part of the deal. It's part of the process. I think, especially, of course, I think the more fun you have is the more satisfying the crash is. I think, especially for more physical shows, more so. I think, especially after Les Mis, I think there's a, to me, there's a lot of very physical moments in that show. You know, for instance, lifting Justin. I think that, so.
Yeah.
He's a guy. No, he's not. But no, just little things like that. You know, a little more physically involved in shows like that. So I think that was very much at the end of that run. I'm like, oh yes, you know. So
Yeah,
yes.
I remember when I saw Les Mis, you guys putting it on. I was like surprised that you guys were even going to tackle that. And I was so impressed with what you guys all did, like the cast, the crew, because I was like, oh my God, like they're tackling something big. You know, you don't think a community theater taking on something so huge, and you guys did an amazing job with it. Like, I was impressed. I like Les Mis, but I've always it's not been one of my favorites. But after I saw that, I really enjoyed the music a lot more, and I had a lot more respect seeing it live like that. Because I had really only seen the movie, and I may have seen a little bit, on TV or something. But I really was impressed by what you guys did, and that's when I knew your production house, like Penny and Pound, were like serious. This is like serious stuff. We're not just gonna, okay, we'll do that because it's easy. Like you guys are like, let's just jump into it and do it. And I'm surprised your mom didn't have a nervous breakdown when she put that together too.
I'm surprised she didn't either. Oh
Because
my gosh.
like, what have I got myself into? What have I gotten myself into?
She says that every show. We've been around for 6 years. I'm like, Mom, it's been 6 seasons. Mom, you did Les Mis and you survived. Like, we're good. It is overwhelming because I mean, my mom and Karina do them by themselves, right? I mean, it's my mom and Karina, and they go back and forth directing. Sometimes they co-direct. I mean, most of the big musicals they co-direct. But yeah, they do everything. They do costumes, they do sets, they do directing, they do, casting. Like every single part of this company is them, and it's crazy like how they can put on these absolute professional quality productions, and with youth too. Like we're not professionals. We're a bunch of high school and college students, so it's really amazing like what they're able to offer the youth of KW and beyond. Like we've had students from beyond, but it's a great experience for these kids to do a show that is professional caliber, that's outside of high school. I mean, a lot of kids do high school shows, but that's its own kind of thing. Like high school, as somebody who's done high school theater, high school theater and legitimate theater are just two different worlds. And it can be a culture shock sometimes for these kids especially these kids who want to become actors professionally, who have only ever done high school shows, going into the professional field. Like it is such a culture shock because they're different. Like you don't have like talk time in the drama room with with Mrs. Gardner where we talk about our feelings. Like they're like, no, like you need to learn these lines, you need to get on it, right?
Yeah.
And I think Penny and Pound is a really good bridge from high school theater to professional theater. Like it's a really great in between, because we do deal with these shows like they're professional. Not to the extent that someplace like Stratford would, where they have like 8 rehearsals and then you go up. Like, but it is a grueling process. Like they expect you to be off book, they expect you to do the character the best of your ability, and yeah, you're going to be trained in different things, in voice and acting. And we've had shows where Karina has trained some actors in fight choreography and dance. I mean, I know I've been trained, and I'm not a dancer, but I've been trained in dance for PMP shows before, and it really pushes you. And like I said, I think it's a good bridge into the professional world for a lot of these youth.
Now, speaking of doing everything, you wrote a play, like a musical, with your mom,
I did, yeah.
which was
Yeah.
I saw a couple of versions of it, and it was like I saw the one where you were just trying it out, and then I saw how it was revamped, and I hear it's getting revamped again eventually.
It has been revamped again. It is, I wasn't personally, this is me personally. Actually, last lockdown is when we started to revamp it, because the production we put up in 2019 was a workshop production. So we put that show up just to kind of see what worked, what didn't, certain characters, certain songs, storyline. And I wasn't particularly happy with where the story went. Just me personally, I didn't like the fact that these characters were kind of submissive. That was my problem with it. I felt like the characters in this show were too submissive to what was going on, and I was like, no, we need to show the other side of this terrible time period where these poor people went through a lot of things. So we decided to revamp, and we bumped the year up a little bit, so the show takes place in 1937 now. And it is actually now, it's been taken out of Warsaw, and it is in a town called Gdansk, which is in Poland, which is a town that is owned by both the German and the Poles. It used to be owned by both of them. and they kind of live together in harmony there. And it is about a group of professional performers. We got a movie star, we've got a torch singer, we have a famous violinist. These famous people who sneak folks performers out of Germany to come perform in Poland, because at that time in 1933, Jewish performers, Roma and Sinti performers, you know, even gay performers were banned from performing in Germany at all under something called the Chamber of Culture law. So they were just, nope, sorry, you can't do that. And so yeah, we have a story of resistance now, where this group of people and some of the same characters you love from the old one, still our lead character, who Jeremy played in A Nightingale Sang, Gail is still around. Eden, his daughter, is still around. The character of Carrie, who in the old one was actually an SS character who was kind of masquerading as an SS to kind of get inside operation. He's actually been rewritten. He is a Jewish movie star now, so it kind of shows you how, yeah, I know, crazy, right? It kind of shows you how these characters evolve as we evolve the story and the show. So yeah, we're really happy with how it turned out. There's a lot of new music for it, some real fun golden era Hollywood style songs, and yeah, it's really fun. It kind of has, I'm happy about it because it has a more hopeful bend to it. Yeah, it's still a terrible time that these people are in, but where they were in Poland at that time in 1937, they didn't know what was going to happen. You know, the invasion hadn't happened yet. They were still living their lives normally, and they were still performing, and they had heard rumors of things that were going on in Germany, but very much like, even when something like COVID, I mean, not, gosh, like COVID is not to the extent that World War II was, obviously, but even when, you know, the States got COVID back last January, and we were sitting here going, well, it can't happen to us. It won't come here. It won't come here.
Yeah.
That's what these characters in this story now are doing, or some of the characters in the story are doing. So yeah, it's we're happy how it turned out.
That's great. I can't wait to see the new version of it, and it sounds like it's and to the fact that you tackled something so big, like, you know, like most teens, you would have been a teen at this time writing this. You know, they're writing stuff about, you know, romances, and I remember seeing this, and I'm like, holy mackerel, it's heavy. I'm like,
it's heavy. It's heavy. It's a heavy story. Oh like, yeah, no, you know, you're preaching to the choir.
Piper was beyond her years, but this was like my jaw was on the floor. Like, this was like, you know.
I genuinely think, and I've talked to you about this before, Donna. I'm sure I've talked to you about this, Heather. I think the best way to deal with difficult subject matter is through the arts sometimes. And, you know, even now with the rewrite of the show, it's called Chosen One now. There's so many people who don't know about that time period, and that's what we want to do. We want to educate, and we want to kind of draw parallels to what's going on nowadays, because it can be scary for, you know, people of color and for members of the LGBTQ community and everything. Like, it's very scary because there are still hate crimes. There are still people out there who are so hateful and so cruel that, yeah, we wanted to kind of show people that, you know, we need to change this. You know, this, you look at the history books and you think, wow, like, that was so terrible, and then you go out and you're racist or you're homophobic or whatever. And it's so important to teach people that, no, this is wrong. Like, we have to, you know, support, you know, these movements like the BLM movement and everything like that. It's very important and close to a lot of people's hearts nowadays.
Absolutely. So, Jeremy, what is your plans like for the future? Like, what do you hope to do? You've mentioned film. Are these stuff you're really like hoping to look into?
Yes, absolutely. I think my original plan, of course, with Toronto Film School was, of course, to springboard more into a film-centric career. Obviously, when lockdown hit, it made things a little more difficult. But that's still the plan, is to pursue more into film. I do want to pursue a couple different areas in the arts. I think it's important to have I like to put my eggs in a couple different baskets. for my career, and because I love all the arts. I love how all the different ways one can express their passions, their ideas, what people's passions are. I think there's a lot of different ways to express that. Music being one of my favorite ways, and film being great live uh, performances as well. I really do love so many different aspects of it. So to get a chance to explore some of that and for a career would be great.
Do you hope to be in like do you want to do film work and stuff, or do you want to actually make films and stuff, or all of it?
All of it, all of it. I've been really fortunate to dabble a bit here and there with some friends on some local projects and through school too, getting some practical exposure. But I'm really excited to dive more into that for sure. Absolutely.
So this is going to be your like life thing. You're going to stay in the entertainment realm.
If Lord willing, hopefully that's the plan. So.
That's good. How about you, Piper? What are your plans for the future? Are you going to continue acting, writing, all that stuff, or do you have an
Yeah,
alternative?
absolutely. Well, I'm my hope. So I'm the opposite of Jeremy. Like I said earlier, I'm not particularly a film girl. I've tried it a few times, and I just don't really see myself doing film. My true passion lies on stage. Like I adore stage acting. In a perfect world, I would absolutely love to do Stratford one day. That is my goal, is to do the Stratford shows, be it plays or musicals. I kind of personally, controversial, but I prefer doing plays to musicals. I love musicals, but I do prefer plays because you kind of get meteor parts. Yeah, I'm working real hard with Penny and Pound right now. Where we're growing currently, which is really awesome. We're growing our board of directors. I do social media and marketing for PMP, so that's yeah, that's a big part of my life. And my mother and I are currently working on another musical, which hopefully, fingers crossed, is going to be premiering in November of 2021.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so coming up. So it is called Curiouser, and it is the story of Charles Dodgson, who wrote Alice in Wonderland. So it is his life from the time he was a little boy until he grows up, and to the point where he writes Alice in Wonderland. And he was such an amazing man and an incredibly inspiring person that, yeah, we decided that he would be a good one to tackle in the musical world, the musical realm. Yeah,
Nice.
he
That's
yeah, so
awesome.
uh yeah, it's gonna be really, really fun. The music is beautiful for it. Obviously, unlike Nightingale, Chosen One, this show is lighter. There is less death, not nearly as many Nazis in this show. But it is a family friendly show. It basically it follows Charles never really felt like he fit in with Victorian society. He has what is now known as Asperger's. So the actor we have playing our Charles Dodgson actually has Asperger's, and he's been our dramaturg for this show. So he's helping us kind of through it, so we don't misrepresent, we don't, you know,
Perfect.
yeah, tackle subject matter that's too difficult. But yeah, it entangles the real people in Charles Dodgson's life with his characters in Wonderland, and then that culminates when he meets the real life Alice Little, who Alice in Wonderland was based upon. Culminates in him writing Alice in Wonderland from all his past experiences. So it takes a lot of true events, and then it takes some kind of slightly bent events as well. But it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a welcome back to the arts event in Cambridge, which
That,
is
and
really, really great.
we can only hope that by November we'll be ready to all go back to the
Absolutely.
theater, go back to concerts, go back to everything again.
Yeah.
We got to
Yeah.
keep positive on that. Uh,
Oh
any,
yeah.
any chances that you guys might reunite and do Daddy Longlegs again live?
That is the hope. We're still trying to figure out logistics for that. Hopefully, and they're opening some outdoor venues in Cambridge in the summer. We're kind of figuring out right now if that would be possible to do for a weekend in the summer, just to kind of wrap up our season with a nice bow. We got a couple more things coming before then, which are some audio and on demand kind of events. In May, we have This Might Interest You Guys, Dawn and Heather. We are doing Small Blessings, which is a collection of my dad's written works, and it's in honor of Brain Tumor Awareness Month, which is May. So those will be audio presentations, and we're going to do 4 of his. There's the book right there.
Yes, I was going to bring this up because this is very wonderful. And tell us a little about this, because your dad was an incredible man. I'm so happy to know all your family, and I am so happy I got to know him too. And
Absolutely.
you put this together, right? This is his work.
I did.
Stuff. Yes.
Yeah, so I was traipsing, that's not a word.
I like it though. Let's make it a word.
I'm gonna use it. I invented it, and Shakespeare can do it, so can I. I was in my attic a while back, first lockdown, and I came upon a box of my dad's writings from when he was my age, and I had heard whisper of a couple of these stories, specifically Mom on the Mantle, for those of anybody who's read the book or is going to watch the audio presentation, which I hope you all do. Mom on the Mantle has been a famed legend in my family for years. It was a short story my dad wrote that he always wanted to turn into a play, and it's absolutely fantastic. So I actually went up looking for Mom on the Mantle. I was like, I gotta read it. Like, I'm his kid. Like, I'm his child, and I've never read Mom on the Mantle. So I went up looking for it, and I actually ended up coming across a whole box full of his old written works from when he was around my age. That was really, really cool, because I mean, I write, and I'm a young writer like he was once. And as Dawn and Heather, as you guys know, my dad was a writer. That's what he did professionally, but he never wrote a single book. And that always really upset a lot of people, because he easily could have been a millionaire. And he's like, nobody would read it. Nobody would care about my book. Because he had really, I mean, my dad, his self-esteem was not great, as with my mother, my sister, and I. We're a very low self-esteem family. But so he never wrote a book. So I thought, you know what? Screw him. I'm gonna put this writing, these wonderful stories, and there's a couple plays in there. I'm gonna put them into a book, and I'm going to publish that, so he can finally say he at least published a book. And
nice.
It's available. It's available on Amazon right now, and part of the proceeds are going to be going to the Brain Tumor Foundation. Like you guys know, my dad passed away of brain cancer in 2016. He battled with it for 2 years. And it was really tough on our family. So we decided to, make kind of something positive out of it, and say, this is a great way to remember Joe Distel by. And, I think this writing deserves to be read. And I know he'd haunt me. Like, I know he's probably going to haunt me, because he's like, I didn't want people to read that stuff. I didn't want, no, that was for school. Like, I don't want people, but, I don't have any of his other writing. So
he probably is talking to Yul Brenner and just saying,
fighting with Zsa Zsa.
When she comes up here, don't even go near her. Talk.
It's so
she
funny.
Published a book of stuff.
I don't know if you heard about this. I don't think I've seen you since this happened. Did I tell you about the psychic? The psychic I went to go see. My sister and I went to. Well, I went to go see a psychic.
I just know your dad and mom, and I don't know if it was you, the kids too, but you guys had this weird thing about celebrity deaths.
Oh, that was my dad. Like, that was my dad. Oh my god. Yeah, he killed Zsa Zsa Gabor. It's a conspiracy, etc. But
I think he doesn't haunt you, Piper, because he's haunting Martin Short. That's my.
Oh yeah. Oh, Martin. What a guy. Oh, that's drama for another day. Wow.
Yeah, I could talk about that another time. One of my favorite stories. Whenever I see Martin Short, we think of Joe and give a moment of
silence. Where my dad did not
like up with working with him.
Yeah, well, I mean, that was disappointing to me too, because I liked Martin Short. I was like, wait, what? And he was so rude to him on the phone when he worked at the orchestra that, every time my sister was little at the time, so she used to watch that Cat in the Hat, knows a lot about that.
Yeah.
And every time my dad would be like, turn it off. I don't want to hear his voice. Ellie's like, no, like, I love it. It's a cat. And he's like, no, it's Martin. We don't like Martin. like conditioned us, and you're like, you don't like him, and we were like, yeah, no, we don't. I hope Martin Short doesn't watch this. I hope I never have to cross paths with Martin Short one day. This is gonna be really awkward to explain.
You know
Because he
what?
won't even remember who he did.
If Martin Short is watching this, which I don't think he will, and we never get
What
to
else
have
is he gonna do?
Short on my show, you guys are going to become big stars one day. So I'll be here.
I don't want to say anything controversial.
So
He started it.
Jeremy, anything that you got coming up that you'd like to promote besides Daddy Long Legs, which we have done already?
I'm working on a music video for a friend of ours. Just putting that in pre-production at the moment. I'm not sure if they have a particular artist name. Good friends of ours, Laura and Jordan. If I get more information about their band name, I'll have to get back to you guys on that. But
definitely.
My best friend Anton and I were currently working on how to put that together and going to be filming that for them. That'll be a fun project to work on. And a couple of things I don't have enough information to disclose quite yet, but a couple other things in the works, which is exciting, but can't talk about really.
And have you done any, like, short films or anything that we can go online and check you out? Check you out. Go wrong.
I don't believe they were actually. I did do a couple through school and otherwise, but I'm not sure if they're actually posted online for anywhere for necessarily to see. But not that I can think of off the top of my head anyway. I did a couple through, most of the work I've done is through Toronto Film School, which I've been really grateful for. But that's all kind of more for our own sort of school's enjoyment. They kind of, I think for the most part, they were just kind of kept in the little tight-knit circles of the school community, which is kind of too bad sometimes, you know, because you kind of want to share this work. But so sorry, I can't really.
It's good. Hey, we're promoting you here just now. People see how awesome you are. Very charming. You're very charming.
Oh, thank you. Who's talking?
I know you don't like compliments, but I'm going to give them to you.
Thank you.
And I am praying that you get a role as Tarzan, and you better let me know, and I'll be there front row. Yes.
Yes.
Piper, you've promoted some stuff, but is there anything else you'd like to promote before we say goodnight?
Yeah. Actually, yeah, there is. So I'm currently playing Cecily, like I said earlier. I'm playing Cecily Cardew, Reese Witherspoon, for those of you who've seen the movie. Her role in The Importance of Being Earnest. We had a plan. We did have a plan, and then lockdown changed that plan. So this is with Playful Fox Productions in Paris. This is my first main stage show I've done with them. And it was supposed to go up in April, so around April 16th, but lockdown had other ideas, unfortunately. So now we're either going to be filming it and premiering it, like we're premiering Daddy Longlegs, or we're going to wait until the summer and do it live. I'm hoping for the latter. Like I said, I prefer live theater, but I'll take what I can get, you know?
Yeah.
But it's a really great cast. It's an adult production, so it's not youth. And I'm the youngest, but that's okay. I'm having a really amazing time. The guy who plays my Algernon is absolutely hilarious. He's one of the finest comedic actors I've had the chance to work with, and the whole cast is just fantastic. So it's definitely something, if you're looking for a laugh, you're looking for a farce to watch. Want to see me crawl on top of a married man, I guess. I guess tune in.
It should be on a poster somewhere.
It's very hard to do in the costume I'm wearing too. It's like a Bridgerton dress, so it's kind of hard to really get my knees on top of his chest.
You learn something from, you never know.
Every production you do. Yeah.
You know.
I'd like to personally apologize to James's wife for the things I do to him in this show. Cecily has seen some stuff. She needs to get some, she's got some trauma she's got to work through, but we're good. I mean, it's a very funny show. It's Oscar Wilde, so you can't go wrong.
That's
Yeah, I'm like, awesome cast.
that's awesome. And before we go, can people still buy this book?
Yeah, so Small
How would you get
Blessings
this?
is still available on Amazon. So if you just go into your Amazon search engine and search Small Blessings by Joseph Distel, Distel, it should pop up. And I really hope everybody buys a copy, because I think this is, we want him to hit the bestseller list so we can, tell him we told him so. And
That's
also the proceeds, the more purchases we get, the more proceeds are going to go to the Brain Tumor Foundation.
which is awesome. Yeah, absolutely. And maybe when you do the performance of that, we'll have you back on and talk about
That'd be
that.
awesome.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, because yeah, as I said, I'm so happy that I know all your family. We've just gotten so close in the last couple of years, and it's just been amazing. And as I was saying to Jeremy, I've only met him in passing, and it's been kind of nice getting to know you a little bit more tonight and stuff like that. And can't promote Daddy Longlegs enough. It's this weekend. You can stream it between 9th and 11th.
Mhm.
So I definitely recommend it. We're going to try to get all the information in the comments below and stuff, and we will try to get you at least some more eyes on it. Thank you both very much for being here. You guys are amazing. I can't wait to see you. As I said, I've seen you both on stage before, so I know the chemistry will be there, and I can't wait to check out the music and stuff. So thank you so much for coming here tonight.
Thanks, Dawn. Love you.
Thank you.
Wish it was
Thank you
in
so much.
person.
Yes,
Aw.
yeah,
All
absolutely so
right.
great. This is a blast. Thank you.
Thank you, and I hope you both come back on again, and we'll talk about lots of
Absolutely.
things. Yeah, I'll try not to compliment you so much, Jeremy. I know how hard that is. I think anybody who sees Jeremy in a performance gets a little bit of a crush on him. Don't you agree,
Like,
Piper?
yeah.
Like, I don't care
Then
if
they
you're
get to know him and they're
a
like,
straight
never mind.
man. I don't care if you're a straight woman. It happens. Deal with it, Jeremy. Deal with it. And on that note, we're going to say goodnight. Thank you for watching, and we will see you next time on the Devlin Bishop Show.